this is getting out of hand. The same tired narrative every few years that the Pelicans are going to relocate somewhere just because somebody on the internet decided to say so. But if you're a Pels fan, then you know what the true story is. And if you don't, well, we're going to break it down for you inside this edition of Pelicans Digest. What's good with it, everybody? It's your boy Melz on the MIC, back once again inside Pelicans Digest. And once again, I want to say thank you to everybody for your kind comments on the last video, man. I'm still not at 100%, but we getting there. We getting there. We making some progress. Once again, thank y'all so much for your kind words, and thank you so much for continuing to subscribe. And if you haven't done it yet, if you're still part of the 70% that haven't subscribed yet, then come on, man, come join the party, man. This is where we at. This is where we give out the best analysis and opinions about the Pels here on Pelicans Digest. And I know this story is kind of old. It was trending a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago. As a matter of fact, that's when I felt ill, is when this story was starting to trend. But I wanted to address what has come up once again. It seems to come up just about every 4 or 5 years, like the presidential elections, about the Pelicans relocating to another city. And I this came to my mind last week because I got a call from my Pelicans ticket rep asking me, if I'm coming down for some games. I don't live in New Orleans. I live in Texas, actually. But I'm, just a few hours drive away from the city, so I try to make a few games every year and also catch them in Dallas. When she called me, I was like, yeah, send me over the info and we'll go from there. And I also thought about why this keeps coming up every few years. Now, as we know, and as you all know, Gayle Benson, who is the owner of the Pelicans, Gayle Benson has had this team for several years now. And while, according to a lot of the NBA analysts and who you ask, they say, oh, well, the Pelicans are a struggling team. They're struggling financially. They're in a small market that can't sell out the arena, and the arena is too small and all this other stuff. Gayle Benson has continued, even through all this stuff, to continue to invest heavily into this team. While everybody keeps saying, the Saints are the top team in New Orleans, and that's going to be true because the NFL is the top sport in America, Gayle has continued to invest in the team and make capital improvements to the team. Which has in turn raised the value of the team from when they bought it. You got to remember, her husband, Tom Benson, only bought this team for like $300 million from the NBA. So it's more than double or triple that amount at this point as far as evaluation. So at the end of the day, she has been a good owner as far as what this team is concerned, as far as doing what it needs to do to make this team better. Now, roster-wise and business decision-wise, that's all can be debated. But at the end of the day, I think she's done an amazing job as an owner. But at the same time, you still get this crap every few years from somebody on the internet like Bill Simmons, who screams, oh, I've been hearing that New Orleans is the prime destination for relocation. And if you know that these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. Well, for context, if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's what Bill Simmons had to say on his podcast. Like playing in the Smoothie King, playing in a market that clearly has not responded to basketball in the same way these other markets. And it's like if somebody brought them and just moved them to Seattle and paid everybody relocation fees, and then you don't have to split your media rights, that seems like where this is headed. Now, listen, man, they bring this up every few years about this. Here's an article from Bleacher Report back in 2021 where it says that the Pelicans are the favorite team most likely to relocate. This comes up every 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, because somebody on the internet decided to go dig deep and find out that the Pelicans' lease is up with the Smoothie King Center. Because the Pelicans do not own the Smoothie King Center. The state of Louisiana owns the Smoothie King Center, okay? And the Pelicans haven't never signed a long-term lease with this because they are hoping that the state of Louisiana will want to build a new arena for them. So Gayle Benson hasn't had to spend a lot of her resources building the arena. And so far, they have had a working relationship as far as the Superdome and also with the Smoothie King Center. Now, when you're dealing with, of course, state governments and stuff like that, you're going to have some rigmarole. And if you know anything, I grew up in Louisiana. I know how Louisiana politics is. If there's a vote about anything that could possibly improve New Orleans involved, everybody north of Baton Rouge is going to vote against it. So in a lot of the situations, it's a delicate balance that Gayle Benson has to walk with the state of Louisiana in order to get the improvements that they want. The NBA wants the Pelicans to get a new arena. And I love the Smoothie King Center, to be honest with you. It's a no-frills arena. To me, everybody's trying to build these big, gigantic monuments and all this crazy stuff and adding all this tech crap into it and all this other stuff. And I'm just going here to see a basketball game, fam. You know what I'm saying? And also I'm going to show you something that kind of shows that, number one, NBA basketball in New Orleans has worked and will continue to work, and why a lot of what they're saying isn't necessarily true. And also, number two, tell you why and how the Pelicans are improving things as far as trying to get more fans and more reach into these arenas. But first off, let me start with this. Gail Benson, the same year that I just showed you in that Bleacher Report article about the Pelicans most likely to relocate, just a few weeks after that report, Gail Benson came out with this with her succession plan, which says that she is going to sell upon her death. The team is to be sold, the Pelicans and the Saints, to an owner. And the stipulation of your buying that team is you have to keep the teams in New Orleans. You have to. That is the only way you're going to get approval to buy any one of these franchises. That's the only way. And so if these guys knew that, because if these guys knew that, they wouldn't be talking all this relocation stuff all the time. Proceeds from the sale of both the Saints and the Pelicans will go to local charities, and all purchase negotiations will seek to ensure both teams remain in the city. The NFL and the NBA has already approved this deal. The NFL and the NBA have already approved the succession plan that Gail Benson has laid out, which also stipulates that if you want to buy the team, you have to keep it in New Orleans. So why does this keep coming up? Because they keep saying this because every 4 or 5 years, the Pelicans and the Smoothie King Center's lease is expired with the state of Louisiana. And they go in and they renegotiate the terms of that lease. The Pelicans have not committed long-term because they know, and the NBA knows, that they want a newer, better arena, okay? Because the Smoothie King Center is still one, if not the smallest arena as far as in attendance-wise in the NBA. It's not the biggest arena. You can only pack so many people in there, okay? But at the same time, this constant talk of, oh, well, basketball ain't working in New Orleans. Basketball just ain't working in New Orleans. Let me show you something. Take a look at this. Let me show y'all something. These are the bottom 10 NBA attendance figures, okay? Bottom 10, all right? Now, the Pelicans fall 24th on that list. They had 689,400 fans. But they still had more fans come to the game during the regular season than your current Eastern Conference champions, the Indiana Pacers. Why ain't nobody screaming about basketball? Don't seem to be working in Indiana. I don't know. What about Memphis? Memphis and New Orleans, as far as market size, are what and what. But yet, and Pelicans, even with a stinky team last year, and the Grizzlies also had a probably equally stinky team, Pelicans still outdrew Memphis. Ain't nobody screaming, let's move Memphis. Basketball city, Memphis. Memphis is a hot basketball city. Why ain't nobody screaming, let's get out of Memphis? Same with Sacramento. The Clippers got a flashy, brand new arena. Bells and whistles, the wall, all that stuff. Pelicans still outdrew them. Pelicans still outdrew them in the regular season. Now, the Wizards and the Hawks, basketball, there's so much crap to do in Atlanta. You tell it, they got all the strip clubs and everything in Atlanta. Ain't nobody going to see the Hawks play. Washington, the Capitol, I say this about Washington, Capitol One Arena is kind of a headache to get into. I've been there. It's kind of a headache to get into. But their basketball team stink. But nobody's screaming move basketball out of these cities. They only scream this about New Orleans. And it's frustrating. It's getting out of hand. It's ridiculous that we keep hearing this. And yet, there's a written concrete plan that says that if the team is to stay in New Orleans, no matter what. Now, could things change? Of course they could. Of course things could change. You've seen already that the Lakers and the Celtics, 2 heritage teams, just got sold for billions of dollars. And yes, people are calling and inquiring about the Pelicans because they want to buy the team. And clearly, if they knew that the stipulation was that they had to keep the team in New Orleans, why are they calling to buy? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I get so frustrated. And as a Pels fan, it's frustrating to keep hearing this coming from these guys and these guys on the internet. They never substantiate their sources. It's always the same thing. Sources say most likely to relocate is New Orleans. Most likely. But these guys never come out. And then Gail Benson has to spend her time, and New Orleans press and everybody else has to spend their time rebutting this energy like I do. Basketball is working in New Orleans. New Orleans is a basketball city. Check the TV ratings. New Orleans is one of the top most watched NBA cities in America. Not necessarily for the Bells. They got a lot of casual fans out here in New Orleans and all across the Gulf region. And also the Pelicans have signed like a TV rights deal with Great Media, which will expand their reach all across the entire state of Louisiana, in some parts of Texas, and also in Mississippi to become a regional force. So that way you can get more people to come on out from those outside areas to come to the game. Those are some of the things that the Pelicans are doing to not only expand their reach beyond the regional area, but also to get more people to come to the games, especially in the season with a lot of hope and promise like they have in this one. So, again, why do we keep going through this? Okay? I don't know why we keep having to deal with this nonsense and this over and over speculation about relocation. It's getting out of hand. It's getting ridiculous, and I wish y'all stop. Gail Benson has said, if you won't buy the damn team, you got to keep it in New Orleans. The NBA and the NFL with the Saints have agreed. So why do y'all keep insisting that we be doing? Go bother Memphis, man. Go bother Indiana. Go bother all the other teams that are drawing less than us. Cleveland's got a brand new, shiny new arena. Got all the tech and the seats and everything. And you know, you can send orders from your phone, from your seat right there. And ain't nobody won't come. Ain't nobody coming. So, but people are coming to see the Smoothie King Center in this small little arena. Because, again, I love the Smoothie King Center. Yes, I want to see some improvements. And there have been some improvements. And that's the thing. The state of Louisiana and the Saints and the Pelicans have all worked together to make some sort of capital improvements to these arenas and these spaces. You saw the Superdome just got renovated just before the Super Bowl. And the Superdome is 50 years old. Ain't nobody screaming, let's get them out of that old decrepit stadium. No, they just keep working it up. And they're trying to take that same approach with the Smoothie King Center. Now, will it work? Now, the only way I see this becoming a problem is because the NBA wants a bigger arena. And, you know, and that's why I say the Pelicans are not, that's why they haven't signed long-term leases. Because, yes, they would like to see if they could get a brand new, spanking new arena sometime soon in the near future. And we'll wait and see. But at the same time, we do know this. The Pelicans are not going anywhere. All right? Stop with that foolishness, man. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stop with the tomfoolery. Come join us right here on Pelicans Digest, man. What are your thoughts on the constant relocation talk about the Pelicans? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think if the teams think this year, you think it's going to get louder? Or do you think this is just more, you don't agree with anything I just pointed out? And you think something different? Clap back with your thoughts. And thank you so much once again for your kind words and your comments, man. But let's get back to business, man. It's Melz Digest. Melz, talking about them Bells. I'll holler at you.